Hello everyone. Today we start this session by defining the RMS value, average value. First I will start with the average value, then the RMS value, then form factor and then the peak factor of a sinusoidal alternating quantity. Now the slide what you are seeing here, it shows how to generate a sinusoidal alternating current or voltage. Here we are just rotating a coil or a conductor in the magnetic field produced by two poles. The conductor A is in reference position, or the position of the conductor when it is reference position as 0 degrees. I am getting change in the flux linkages as 0 in the conductor, therefore I will not getting any voltage. So that is represented by the 0 value of the voltage at this particular point. When the coil is rotated by 45 degrees, I will be moving the conductor from position A to position B, therefore there will be certain value of the voltage induced. As the coil moves further, you can see in the waveform the voltage is increasing from 0 to a maximum value of C, which I have taken to be 100 volts, and start decreasing from 100 to a value of 0 again when the coil or conductor is moved by 180 degrees. So this is one positive alteration. This particular thing is called as a positive alteration because during this movement of the conductor or the coil, I have all positive values. Same thing will happen in the reverse direction when the coil or conductor is further rotated. So you can see here when the coil is moved by 225 degrees from its initial position of A, I am getting a voltage of, say here, F. Okay, this height what it represents, it is the voltage at the position where the conductor is 25 degrees from the reference position of 0. So further the coil voltage increases to minus 100 when the coil is or conductor is rotated by 270 degrees, that is position G. And again if you see here, the voltage also here also it is increasing in the negative direction from 0 to a maximum and again coming back to 0 here. That is when the conductor occupies its original position of A, so the voltage comes down to 0. So here I have one positive set of alterations and this is a negative alteration. So all the values in this alteration are negative, and here in all the values of the voltages are positive. Therefore if you see this sine curve, here I can have the sinusoidal voltage, I can write an expression for the voltage when the conductor is moved by 45 degrees. When the maximum value of the voltage is V maximum or E maximum, the instantaneous voltage at any instant of time can be given by the expression, see like this, E of t is equals to E maximum sin omega t, like this, where omega I call it as angular velocity. Okay, if the frequency f is 50 hertz or 50 cycles per second, omega it is given by 2 pi f, that becomes 314 radians per second, and the instantaneous value of the voltage for a maximum value of 100 volts, it becomes 100 sin 314 t. Now I can have any instant t. See, if frequency is 50 hertz, the time period t is called 1 upon f. So this comes to be 1 by 50. So this is around 0.02 seconds. For the sinusoidal wave to complete one full cycle like this with a maximum value of 100 volts, when it is rotated at an angular velocity of omega is equal to 314 radians per second, for a given time omega t will be the angular displacement from a reference value of 0 degrees. It is taking 0.02 seconds to complete one revolution, or this is the time period, or simply we call it as a period of sine wave. Now here I can divide this period into smaller intervals. Say for example, if I divide this into two parts like this is half a cycle, so it becomes 0.01 seconds. further division I can divide this by half. So, this is 0.005 seconds. Like that, at any instant t, I can find out the value of omega t, omega being constant. I can write down this instantaneous value of the voltage. If you see the figure here, now in this figure, when omega t is equal to 0 degrees, I have a voltage of 0 volts. When the conductor is moved by 45 degrees, I have a voltage of 100 sin 45. So, that instant when omega t is equal to 45 degrees, I get the instantaneous voltage as 100 sin 45 degrees. Sin 45 is 0.707, 100 multiplied by 0.707 will give you 70.7 volts. This. When omega t is equal to 90 degrees, I get sin 90 is 1, therefore, I will be getting a maximum value of 100 volts. Like this, when omega t is 135, again the voltage will come down to 70.7 volts. In the negative half cycle, similar values of the voltages I can obtain in this phasor diagram or in this waveform. Now, you can see here, if I define an average value of a sinusoidal quantity, average value of a sinusoidal quantity I want to define. This average value, it is defined as average of all the values of the voltage or the current over a period. Now, if I see the waveform, I have here at t is omega t is equal to 0, I have a 0 voltage, 45 degrees I have a voltage of 70.7, and 90 degrees I have a voltage of 100, and 135 degrees again I have a voltage of 70.7, and 180 I have a value of 0 voltage. So, 0 plus 70.7 plus 100 plus 70.7 plus 0 plus we have here minus 70.7 minus 100 minus 70.7 minus 0. If I add up all these values, I will be getting the sum is equal to 0 divided by, I have how many samples in this cycle is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 samples we have. So, this divided by 9 will give us a 0 value. So, this 0 value of average value is not useful for us, it will not give us any information about the waveform. So, to have a meaningful meaning for the average value, instead of calculating the average value over a period, we will calculate the average value over half period, that is considering either positive half cycle or the negative half cycle. Any one half cycle is sufficient to define the average value. So, if you take the average value for over a positive half cycle, the average value will be given by is equals to 0 plus 70.7 plus 100 plus 70.7 divided by plus 0 also you can write divided by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 samples, like this we have. Okay. So, 5 samples. So, sum of this numerator divided by the denominator will give us an average value of certain value. Look, can we say around, say this is 100, 70.7 plus 70.7 will give you 140, 70.7, 70, 140, 141.4 volts plus 100, this gives around 241.4 volts divided by 5. This will be the average value for the sinusoidal alternating voltage over half cycle. So, this average value, it has an effect on the shape of the waveform. All sinusoidal values will have an average value depending on the maximum value. So, I can derive a closed form of expression for the average value of a sinusoidal alternating quantity. So, since I am defining the average value over a half period, see, average value by definition is the algebraic sum of all the values divided by the total number of values. So, here I can See, this slide tells you about the average value calculated over a full cycle. Now, if I complete this integration in the numerator, I will be getting a 0 value. That is because the sinusoidal wave have equal positive and equal negative areas over a cycle. So, therefore, the algebraic sum of the two areas is 0, hence the average value calculated over a cycle for a sine wave is 0. So, since this is not giving us any good information about the average value, we go for calculating the average value by computing the area under half a cycle. So, here I show you how to compute the area under half a cycle. See, this is my sine period, sine curve. I have a period of t seconds. This is my half period t by 2. Here at a distance of omega t, I will be considering a small elemental strip of width d omega t. This small elemental strip, it has a width of d omega t. Okay. Now, if I take this to be the voltage V of t or E of t, the area under this elemental strip what you have, neglecting the small portion, the triangle what you get at the top, I have the area of the strip is equals to the instantaneous value U of t multiplied by the width d omega t. The instantaneous value, it is the maximum value sin omega t to d omega t. So, this is what the area under the strip, okay, sin omega t d omega t. Now, if I take the total area under the positive half cycle, what I have to do is from one end of this, that is 0 to pi by t by 2, I can consider that this waveform is made up of small elemental strips, each of width d omega t. Adding up all the element strips, I will be getting the total area. This addition can be represented by an integral area under positive half cycle is equals to positive half cycle, let us write. This is equals to integral 0 to t by 2, okay, area, that is Em sin omega t d omega t. This is the area under half cycle. Then when I divide this with the length of the half cycle, what is the length of the half cycle? I have length of half cycle is equals to half the time period, that is I have t by 2. So, when I do this, that is average value is equals to area under half cycle, either positive half cycle or negative half cycle, whatever you want you can take it, divided by the length of half cycle. So, this gives us integral 0 to t by 2 Em sin omega t d omega t divided by t by 2, or I can write this as 1 by 2 by t integral 0 to t by 2 Em sin omega t d omega t. This is an expression for average value of sinusoidal quantity over a positive half cycle. The same value will be there on the negative half cycle also. If the period of the waveform is expressed in radians per second, then this t becomes 2 pi, t becomes 2 pi, t by 2 becomes pi. Therefore, this expression, the integral, I can write it as 2 by pi integral 0 to pi by 2 Em sin omega t d omega t. Okay. I have taken t by 2 here because the length of the half cycle, in case when the period is expressed in radians per second, it becomes pi by 2. Okay, that is pi I will get. So therefore, length of the half cycle I can write it as 1 by pi here. This is 2 by t, but here becomes 1 by pi. Okay, 1 by pi, and the limits of the integral becomes 0 to pi. Kindly note that this is half the length of the half cycle in the time. So therefore, I have 2 by t, 0 to t by 2, half cycle length. Here full cycle is 2 pi radians, half cycle is pi radians. Therefore, I will be getting 1 by pi integral 0 to pi. Now this is more beneficial for us because I can do an integration of sin omega t with respect to d omega t. The integration is with respect to d omega t. Therefore, when I write here, it is 1 by pi Em integral of sin omega t will give you minus cos omega t 0 to pi. Okay. When I put cos omega t integral here, minus cos omega t 0 to pi, I will be getting an value of 1 by pi Em minus cos pi plus cos 0. So this will be 1 by pi Em, I have minus of minus 1, minus of minus 1 plus 1. Okay. This results in average value is equals to 2 Em by pi. On this slide, I have shown the average value of the current, that is 2 Im by pi. Whether Em or Im, it is one and the same because both are sinusoidal alternating quantities. Okay. Now this 2 Im by pi, the 2 by pi can be written as 0.637 times the maximum value. This is a closed form of the average value. All sinusoidal alternating quantities will follow this average value expression, that is the average value will be 63.7% of the maximum value of the sinusoidal alternating quantity. Now if I see the effective value, or it is also called as an RMS value, okay, why we call it as RMS value we will see later. The effective value of an AC current is defined on the basis of heating effect. Okay. Now what I do here is I consider, before giving the definition of the effective value, I will just consider one resistor. Say the resistor has a value of R. I am passing a DC current of I amperes through the resistor R for a time of t seconds. The power in the resistor, if I take, because of the DC current, it is I square R. Since it is flowing through the resistor for a time of R seconds or R minutes, the heat produced or heating effect, heat produced will be I square R multiplied by T. Through the resistor, through the same resistor, for the same amount of time, t seconds, if I allow an alternating sinusoidal alternating quantity or current of I of t, okay, through the same resistor, I have the power produced, I power P here also is I square of t multiplied by R, and then heat is given by I square R T. Okay. Based on the heating effect, the effective value of an AC current is that DC current which produces the same amount of heat as that of AC current when flowing through a resistor for the same amount of time. So as per this definition, if these two equations are equal, that is I square RT is equals to I square of T multiplied by R into T, this being the sinusoidal alternating current and this being a DC current. If these two are equal, then I say the DC value of the current is the effective value of the alternating sinusoidal current. So this effective value we will be calculating based on the heat effect, okay, or heating effect. So this is what I have shown you, okay, as an equation. First case I am considering a sinusoidal alternating current which has a maximum value of Im and a period of 2 pi, okay. Now if to calculate the power produced by alternating current, I need to square this current I square R, okay, I square of T I should write. So this current waveform what I have, the sinusoidal alternating current waveform, I will be squaring. So 0 to pi, as we have a positive half cycle, all these positive values will be squared. Therefore I am getting a positive half cycle of the current squared curve, okay, current squared one. And again here during the pi to 2 pi, as I have all negative values, this when multiplied, okay, that is when I square this, I again get minus into minus as a plus, okay, as it is plus. Therefore I will be getting again this I square curve as a positive one, okay. And if this I square curve is multiplied by resistance of R, I will be getting the power curve, okay, which is sinusoidal but not alternating, okay. See, because it is following a sine curve but it does not have a negative half cycle, okay, it has only a positive wave. Therefore it is not alternating, it is oscillating between a 0, a maximum value, and again 0, again a maximum value. It is like this. If I calculate the average of the power curve, what you are saying here, the average value will give you the effective value of the RMS, that is, or effective value of the sinusoidal quantity. So the power what I have shown here is P is equal to I square R. I am squaring, so I will be getting Im square sin square omega t multiplied by R. So this sin square omega t can be written as 1 minus cos 2 omega t by 2. Therefore the product will give you Im square R by 2 minus Im square R by 2 cos 2 omega t. The second term is a cosine function varying with a time frequency of 2 omega, okay. If the sinusoidal current what is passing through, it has a omega, the power it has a cosinoidal component having a frequency of 2 omega. The average value of this term is 0. Which one? This cosine term average value will be 0. Hence the average value of the power will be P average is equals to Im square by 2 into multiplied by R. This is what you have, the average value of the power. The power in the resistor due to DC current will be I square R, where I is a capital value. So I am equating these two powers. Therefore I get I square is equal to Im square by 2. Both resistors cancels as I am considering resistor of same value in both the cases. Therefore effective value will be square root of Im square by 2. Why I say square root means because I am defining it like that, okay. In the sense I said the value of the DC current which produces the same amount of heat as that of the AC current. So I am interested in finding out I. Therefore I am taking a square root here, for I get I effective is equals to Im by root 2. All sinusoidal alternating quantities, whether it is current or voltage, will have a effective value of 0.707 times Im, that is 70.7% of the maximum value. If you just compare the average value, it is 63.7%, whereas the RMS value or the effective value what we call, it is 70.7% of the maximum value. So always the RMS value will be more compared to the average value for a sinusoidal alternating quantity. That you have to keep in remember, because the other waveforms will have a different value of average, different expression for the average value, and will have a different expression for the RMS values also. Only sinusoidal alternating quantities we will have the average value as 2 Im by pi or 2 Vm by pi or 2 Em by pi, and they will have a effective value of Vm by root 2 or Im by root 2. So, this expression again will give you the instantaneous power absorbed, and this also will give you an expression for the effective value. If you see the effective value on the slide here, I have given an effective value expression as square root of 1 by t integral 0 to t I square dt. Okay, this is, if you read this equation, I call it as a effective value definitely, but before finding out the effective value, you see I am squaring the current. Okay, therefore it is squared. Then I am calculating the mean value, this 1 by t integral 0 to t I square dt, it gives us the mean value. Okay, first squared, then mean, then I am taking the root of that. Okay, so this is root mean square value. Okay, but the process is actually the reverse way. First I need to square that current, then I need to calculate the average value of the current. Okay, average value of the squared current, then I should take the square root of that average value of the squared current. So, all this process what you are involving, squaring, taking average, that is mean, and finding out the square root will give you root mean square value. Okay. So, effective value is nothing but basically the RMS value or the root mean square value of an AC current. Okay. So, the quantity under the square root in the previous slide is the average of or mean of the squared function. The effective value of an AC wave is the square root of the mean of the squared function. So, that is why I can call it as root mean square value. So, this is another slide showing the expression for effective current or RMS current. Then I have a form factor. So, this is normally, this can be defined for all the waveforms. Okay. The ratio of effective value to the average value, it is known as the form factor of the waveform of any shape. Generally, if I take a sinusoidal quantity, I take the form factor is equal to RMS value divided by average value. The RMS value of the voltage is given by maximum value divided by root 2, and average value is given by 2 times the maximum value by pi. Simplifying this, I will be getting the form factor as 1.11. All sinusoidal waveforms, whether it is voltage or current, will have a form factor of 1.11. Okay? Any sinusoidal waveform, or in fact any waveform which has a larger form factor, will produce large amount of energy wasted during the flux reversals when I am applying that voltage to a magnetic circuit. Okay? That is, the waveform with larger form factor produces more amount of hysteresis loss. Okay? This is the magnetic property of the magnetic material. Okay? Then we have a peak factor. The importance of peak factor is, in all electrical appliances, when you are trying to design the amount of insulation, we do not go for a RMS value, but we see the peak value or the maximum value. Okay? The peak factor or the crest factor or amplitude factor, there are 3 names for this. Peak factor we can call, crest factor we can call, or amplitude factor of a waveform. It is defined as the ratio of its maximum value or peak value to its RMS value. For a sinusoidal waveform, this RMS value, the peak factor will be around value of 1.414. You can see here Kp, the peak factor, it is the ratio of maximum value to RMS value. Because the root 2 is 1.414, I will get a value of this. Normally, in the problems what we are associated with the AC circuits, the voltages mentioned, unless otherwise mentioned, they are all RMS values. So, whenever you want to calculate the peak factor, you need to multiply that voltage by a factor of root 2 or 1.414. See, I just want to give you a small introduction about the phasors. Okay? When a voltage of phasor of amplitude Vm drawn in the reference direction, that is the positive real axis, I will just give the diagram here. I take my x and y coordinates, this is the x coordinate and this is a y coordinate, this is my reference direction. I am just drawing the voltage vector here. This is V, okay, this is V, fine. Voltage of a phasor Vm, I will write Vm here, drawn in the reference position, that is along the positive real axis, and a current phasor of amplitude Im drawn at a negative angle theta with the reference. I am drawing the negative angle theta, that is angle will be negative in the clockwise direction, therefore this is theta, and the vector has a maximum value of Im, okay. When both these phasors are rotated in the counterclockwise direction, so that is the positive direction what you have taken counterclockwise, we get two waveforms. One is, both waveforms are time functions, one is the voltage and the other one is the current sinusoid. So the waveforms you can see here, they will be like this, okay. One is a sinusoidal waveform, the current is also a sinusoidal, but because of the angular difference between the two, that is voltage and the current, the waveforms they will not start at 0, okay. The voltage will be starting at 0 because the initial position of the voltage is along the reference axis, okay. Compared to the initial position of the voltage which is on the reference axis, the current is lagging behind by an angle of theta. So if you see the voltage waveforms here, by the time the voltage moves by an angle of theta in the counterclockwise direction, then the current vector will be along the positive reference side, okay, reference axis, then its image or the projection on the vertical axis will be 0, therefore you will be getting a 0 value of the current. See, this is here, voltage is 0, by the time it moves by theta, I will be getting a value of Vm sin theta as the instantaneous value. At that instant the current is becoming 0, okay. Now this angular difference between the voltage and current, okay, this will remain constant for this waveforms because both the waveforms are rotated at constant angular velocity of omega. So this diagram what I have shown in the previous slide, okay, say for example here, this is called as a phasor diagram, but generally what happens when you draw the phasor diagram, we do not consider the maximum values of the voltages, we will just consider the RMS values of the voltages. So a phasor diagram, it is a diagram containing phasors of interrelated sinusoidal voltages and currents with their phase differences indicated, okay. I will show you a phasor diagram here. So this is what the same phasor diagram I had shown you previously, I am using here. Now here the phase difference between the voltage and current, it is the angular difference what we get, okay. Here the with respect to the reference, the current Im, it has a phase angle difference of theta with respect to the voltage. This theta will remain same, okay, this theta will remain same for the complete rotation of these two phasors in the coordinate system, okay. So far the voltages and current are rotated at same angular velocity, the theta remains constant. Now let us see here, I want to stand here, okay, say I am having say standing at a point P, I am rotating these vectors in the counterclockwise direction, okay. As the vectors are rotated by in the counterclockwise direction, the reference point P will be crossed by first by voltage, then current follows that, okay. So in every revolution the phasor Vm passes the observer before the phasor Im does. Therefore I say Im, it is lagging behind or it is following the voltage phasor by theta degrees. So compared to the voltage in sine wave, the current sine wave is shifted to the right or later in time we call, okay. So therefore when I write V of t is equal to Vm sin omega t, the current I of t is equal to Im sin omega t minus theta. Therefore because of the sine of the angle theta is negative, I say the current is lagging behind the voltage by theta. So this I can also show it with the waveform what I have here. So here you see, in this waveform the voltage, it is lagging behind, sorry, the current lagging behind the voltage by an angle of theta. That means first voltage is becoming 0, after 30 degrees or theta degrees the current is becoming 0, okay. Like that, this theta degrees of difference between the 0 values or between the maximum value of the current remains constant throughout this waveform. See here, when you draw the phasor diagram, okay, or when you want to compare the phasors, both should have the same frequency, okay. That means one phasor has an angular velocity of omega 1, the other one has an angular velocity of omega 2, it is not possible, okay, because if these two are rotated by a different angle, the phase angle difference between the two vectors will never remain constant, okay, and both the phasors what you are writing must have a positive amplitude for comparing them, okay. Both should be written as sine functions or cosine functions, because only sinusoidal alternating quantities can be represented by a rotating vector, that is the reason. I will just tell you about the power in AC circuits. An AC voltage source is delivering power to a load, okay. Assume that the current is lagging behind the voltage by theta, okay. So since AC source, the current is also AC, so the voltage as well as current both are sinusoidally alternating, but the current has an angle of theta between with respect to time, with respect to the voltage axis. So the RMS value of the voltage, as per the definition, I write it as Vm by root 2, or you can also call it as a effective value. This is the value of the voltage what is applied across the load. So the current passing through the load, if the current has a maximum value of Im, I have I is equal to Im by root 2, the effective value of the current through the load. The product of this V and I what you have will give you the power going to the load, and it is called apparent power, okay. V into I, it is called as an apparent power. At any instant the power P consumed by the load is given by the product V into I. That is, if V of t is the instantaneous voltage and I of t is the instantaneous current, the power at any instant, it is the product of the voltage and the current. You should remember this, okay. Instantaneous power we call this, okay, because product of voltage at an instant and the current at an instant, it is give us apparent, instantaneous power, okay. If you multiply the value of V and the value of I from instant to instant, we get the instantaneous power, okay, that is given there. Now if I see the waveform, this waveform is similar to the previous one what you have taken, okay. Here my voltage wave, it is a reference wave, the current is lagging behind the voltage by an angle of alpha I have given here, or A can be theta here, okay. Now see here, this A, the phase angle difference between voltage and current is present throughout the waveform. That means this voltage and current are rotated at same angular velocity. If you see this waveform here, for one full period of the sinusoidal voltage, I also get a one full period of a current wave, but the current will not start from 0 and end at 0, it will have a phase difference of theta here. Now if I move along the time axis, you can see here at O, okay, I have the voltage is 0, but the current has certain value. Because the voltage is 0, current has a certain value, the product becomes 0. And even at A, I have a positive value for the voltage, but the current is 0, therefore the product is 0. So from O to A, the voltage is increasing, the current is decreasing, therefore the product increases and then start decreasing. So this is, we have a small negative cycle here, okay, for the power. From A to B, both voltage and current are positive, okay, but you see the voltage has a waveform, a sinusoidal waveform, okay, fine, because the current is increasing from 0 to a positive peak, the product increases, and again at point B the voltage is becoming 0. but current is positive. Since voltage is 0, I am getting the power as 0. Again from B to C, the voltage is negative, current is positive, therefore the power will follow a negative cycle. Okay? And from C to D, both voltage and current are negative, therefore I get a positive cycle for the power. Okay? Now you can see here, if you just see the power curve, it is again has an average value and it is oscillating. Okay? But it is not following a sine curve during oscillations. That is because the negative half cycle is a different one compared to the positive half cycle. Okay? So the same thing again repeats here. This slide also tells the same thing. From A to B, both voltage and current have positive values, hence the power is positive. From B to C, the voltage is negative, hence the voltage is negative and current is positive, hence the power is again negative, like that. And if we try to calculate the average power for the power cycle, power curve what I have shown, we can say the instantaneous power is the product of these two, Vm sin omega t multiplied by Im sin omega t minus theta. I considered a phase angle difference of theta between voltage and current. Therefore, if I multiply, I will be getting Vm Im sin omega t minus theta. The product of these two sine terms can be written like this: cos of A minus B minus cos of A plus B by 2. So that will give you cos of omega t minus theta, which comes down to cos theta, and the second term will give you cos of omega t plus omega t minus theta. It gives us cos 2 omega t minus theta. So when I simplify this, I will be getting Vi. These are the two RMS values of voltage and current. Okay, because this 2 can be written as root 2 multiplied by root 2. So Vm upon root 2 will give you RMS value of the voltage, Im upon root 2 will give you RMS value of the current. Then this is cos theta, because omega t cancels here, so I will get cos theta. Second one is cos 2 omega t minus theta, because the 2 omega t's will add up there. If I open the brackets, I will be getting Vi cos theta minus Vi cos 2 omega t minus theta. Then if you try to complete this process of evaluating the average power, I will be getting only the first term, because the second term is following a sinusoidal waveform of angular frequency 2 omega, whose average value will be 0. Okay? So you can also show that if you go to the power waveform in the previous slides, okay, you can see by the time the voltage is completing half cycle, that is 0 to another 0 through positive, the power has two half cycles. One is a negative one, the other one is positive one. Okay? So that is what I get 2 omega there. Okay? So the average power or actual power or real power, what we call, consumed by the load in an AC circuit is P is equal to Vi cos theta. If I just multiply the RMS value of the voltage and RMS value of the current, I will be getting only the apparent power, which appears to be the power, but actual power is Vi cos theta. The phase angle difference, okay, what you have between the voltage and current, that also matters in evaluating the actual power consumed in a AC circuit. Now come to the power factor. It is defined as the factor by which the apparent power is to be multiplied so as to get the real power. So power factor in the expression for power is equal to cos theta, where theta is the phase angle difference between voltage and current. If the current I lags behind the voltage, the power factor is called as a lagging power factor and is assigned a positive sign. If the current is leading the voltage, the power factor is called leading power factor and the leading power factor are assigned negative sign. If the power factor is very close to 1, I will be getting larger amount of real power, that is real power will be very close to the apparent power. If the power factor is 1, real power and apparent power both are same. As the theta value increases, the cosine of the theta value keep on decreases. When theta becomes 90, I will be getting power factor is 0, therefore the real power is 0. Apparent power will be there, but real power becomes 0 there. The magnitude of the power factor, it varies from 0 to 1. Cos 0 is 1, the maximum value, and cos 90 is equal to 0, that is the minimum value. We can also express the power factor as a percentage. When the power factor is 0.8, we can say the power factor is 80%. When the phase angle is 0, the circuit is said to be having a unity power factor, because cos 0 will give you a value of 1.